Oh my god. That's how it started this new podcast?
Yes, this is exactly what we're doing. We're ripping off South Park. Hi.
The right thing to do.
Hi.
The right thing to do is to... Oh,
Whoa.
very deaf.
Yes.
Believe it or not, he's
Welcome
not
back to a brand new podcast.
I mean, then he should have a sit on him. He survives that.
Mm.
Yeah. So, this is The Last of Us.
Yep.
This is,
Left Behind.
Post-game
this
commentary.
is scene from
DLC.
The Last of Us. This is not the original Last of Us
No,
that me and Nathan recorded.
It's the prologue.
It's the prologue
Yeah. and we're
for
doing
the
a
second
podcast
season.
over it.
Yeah. No, for the second season. This is just DLC for the first one.
Just DLC for the first one after
I
John
was like,
nearly dies.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
we were all there for it. And then,
We will be playing The Last of Us
I
Mm-hmm.
find funny about this one.
in the
I'm like,
future.
again
Sometime.
at some point.
just what it shows us.
Just don't watch the one that we've already done because
They turned to custard.
Oh,
Well,
no.
whoops.
it's fine.
They turned to custard.
It did.
It did.
It
It was my computer's fault.
Whoops. Oh.
That's
thought it was funny.
unfortunate.
With, like, unlike Red Dead Redemption 2,
Yeah.
which had a clear, would you like to make this game look even better but than it already did. This one had a, like, you can turn it up, but it doesn't look any different. So I'm like,
So
Yeah.
are you guys like...
Yeah.
So on... for Red Redemption on your channel. If you haven't seen the channel updates that we did in the last podcast, link is in the description
Doom will
to
go
all of our
first
previous
before
ones.
this,
Pardon?
Doom would go before this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will. Which by the way, if you want to watch our previous podcast, link in the description.
They
As I was,
can find it. It's
They can
fine.
find it, stop trying.
Like I was going to say, because you guys in the last podcast that we just recorded,
Oh man, this is a very heavy scene right now.
There's emotion.
There is emotions.
There is emotion.
Don't you tell.
Are you guys going to do like a full playthrough of the campaign of Red Redemption?
Yes, that's the idea.
That is what we.
I'm gonna
So
try to do as much
Red
as I
Dead
can.
Redemption Wednesdays, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, tell me about the Doom. Not John, but D&D.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We got,
So
we got,
you two have a couple stories to tell me.
D&D story for you, for all of you.
Cracks
This is from last week's game.
Okay. Sorry, wait. How many stories do you have? 'Cause you
Sorry, yesterday's game.
Didn't you have 2 stories?
I have-
the same story.
I have a
Before
story.
and after.
I have multiple stories, Jamie, but this is the most recent one.
Go for it.
So yesterday, me and Nathan and
Matt.
George and Kenny, which are all guys from the D&D group, and Nathan.
And Matt. You forgot Matt.
Matthew was there, but he wasn't a part of the planning or anything.
Oh,
He came in
the
later.
murder.
Oh yeah. We're telling
Nathan wasn't a
about
part of the
murder.
murder. He was no part of murder.
You technically were.
Well,
And
what
so
way?
was-
And what did I do?
What?
What did I do?
You helped us with an alibi.
I
You are a
agreed
part
to
of-
none of this,
You,
but
you're
okay.
a part of our alibi. Anyhow, so Matt and Alex are also part of the D&D group, but they're not a part of the first half of the story.
Right.
So we start off by finding a bunch of students in this town that we've been in and we're all like, well, we're gonna upskill these people because honestly, they're not gonna survive otherwise.
Yeah.
So we're gonna upskill the people by teaching them magic, teaching them how to farm, and teaching them how to survive in this new world that they don't understand. First thing comes magic. So we're all heading up to this cool tower in the middle of buttfuck nowhere to learn some magic.
Yeah.
And on the way, Matt and Alex are talking with this guy in town who's a noble, which me and George and Nathan didn't know anything about in character.
Right.
So they're all talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a part of the stupidly evil empire that existed, and I would like you to bounty hunt for me." And they're like, "Okay."
And so
So they accept the bounty and they leave for the day, and then George starts fishing, George, like you do sometimes. He was like speaking to the students that we had taken on. He was like, "Okay, so is there anyone in town
it'd be a rival.
that might be from the Empire, or is somebody from the Empire who's outspoken about the Empire's old regime?" And we learned about the guy who may or may not have a connection to the original Emperor, the Emperor,
Emperor.
Yeah, it is.
There it is. That's
Emperor.
the word.
This is me going.
Huh?
There's me trying to figure it out.
Oh,
I'll try for that settings.
settings.
Figure out the settings.
Anyway, not important with the settings.
Yes, no.
So, they're like, yeah, there's an emperor in the town, and he's pretty empire. He's connected to the emperor.
Is he authoritarian?
Basically. Anyhow, and we're like, okay then. And so we go about the rest of the day, but then me and George start planning how to assassinate him, basically. Without leaving any evidence, really. And we're like, okay, so we've decided to use my fine familiar to fly over to the town, breathe some dragon's breath into his house, and poison him.
Right.
So it was a combination spell of fine familiar and dragon's breath.
Oh yeah.
So we planned it out, and it went off without a hitch, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Only one person saw my owl, and it's just an owl.
Yeah.
You know?
Should we explain to viewers like what?
No.
Like
Should
what
I
this is
explain the spells?
For D&D?
Do you think I should explain? Do you understand this kind of spells, or should I explain them to you?
No, not really.
Okay,
no,
so
like I haven't played like D&D properly. Like I've only done like a ton
alright,
of
well
character.
here it is. My character is a gnome wizard,
Okay.
which is the best class you can play if you want to be a wizard. Race you can play if you want to be a wizard. I mean, and I got a lot of spells on this character, simply because as a wizard, you get a lot of spells.
Mm-hmm.
But in Sam's game, unlike Danny's game, there's actually people who have wizard books that they'll drop occasionally, and you'll actually be able to learn new spells. Because as a wizard, so long as the spell's written down and it's within your class, you can learn it.
Okay.
So the first spell that I explained to you, Find Familiar, is a ritual spell that basically summons a creature from... Basically, it's a creature of magic that takes a form. And my one is an owl, but it can change form. So that's just Find Familiar. It is a creature...
What's its name?
It's Cloak.
Cloak, that's right.
Yeah. And...
I'm a dwarf sorcerer.
it's the fucking weirdest
It's
combination.
the weirdest combination of words.
Yeah. So that's Find Familiar. Basically, it's my own familiar. It obeys my commands. I can give it instructions, and it's just an owl, really.
Right.
And people don't think it's going to be that helpful, but it is one of the most helpful spells in D&D.
Okay.
The second spell, Dragon's Breath, is a relatively new spell from Xanthal's Guide. It's a touch spell. So you touch a willing creature, and you imbue it with the power to use a Dragon's Breath.
Right.
Which is a cone effect, and you can choose acid, poison, lightning, fire, and ice, I think, as well. Not 100%. Anyhow, you can choose one of the breaths, and it's a concentration spell. So you have to concentrate on it, and it lasts up to 1 minute.
Right.
I use those two spells in conjunction to breathe poison into this poor noble's house.
Okay.
He was a monster. Right?
He was a terrible person.
Anyway, yeah.
They
So
did the right thing.
So you did that.
that was the whole thing. We planned it out. We had an alibi. We have a very solid alibi.
Yeah, I saw that alibi.
We have no connection to this guy. We had never met him before in our lives. We didn't even know he existed.
Right.
So we have no reason to kill him. So there's no means.
But you did.
There's no motive. But there's means and there is motive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we kill him. It goes off, and then we get hired to investigate the crime.
Oh, that's just the best bit. I was like, yes.
We get hired to investigate who killed him.
The crime that you committed. Killing an innocent noble.
He was not innocent. He was a bounty hunter.
Okay.
Monster.
That explains it.
But I was just hilarious.
That's fine.
Then we continue onward, and we find out that he has treasure.
Yeah, so
the guy...
we already knew that he had gold.
We didn't know where it was.
Yes, but we didn't know where he was. So we're like, somebody around here has got to know where he put his gold.
Okay.
So we go and interrogate the guard outside.
I'm
And we're very intimidating when we want to be. We're like, oh, a torture session!
And what made it funny is that guy could not lie for shit.
He couldn't lie for the life of him. And there was, how many, all of us were rolling to see whether or not we see past his lies.
Yeah, we all rolled. But
We
I
all-
tried kept getting Kenny to be intimidating because he's a large fucking bear.
He's
He
playing
wouldn't do it.
He's playing a furbog, which is a very large, hairy creature, which are amazing druids. They were made to be druids.
Yeah.
And he's 8 foot tall.
Right.
And he's like
He's
super
also
passive. So anyhow, we didn't get any information out of him after intimidating him quite a lot.
Yeah.
But what we did manage to do is we got Alex's character to...
Who's a dog.
Yeah. He's playing he's playing an awakened dog.
It's pretty funny.
It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, that's not a part of the story.
He goes
He
fine.
sniffs
out where
we basically sniff out where he buried the treasure.
And on the way we met a tree.
We did meet a tree.
You meet a tree.
It was
We
a
met a
pretty
tree.
interesting tree.
It was a cool tree.
At that point I was prepared to throw my axe at that tree as well in case it attacked.
I'm like,
I'm like,
if you
I don't
had
give a
thrown your
shit.
axe at that tree, I would have seriously reprimanded you. I would have.
If only
Because-
it attacked. I would have only done it if it attacked.
That tree was a tree ant and it was clearly protecting this gate. So it's basically tree ants are built to
Intelligence-
be
My
guardians
intelligence
of
doesn't
places.
care about that. My intelligence doesn't know that.
It's not smart enough
What's
to
your-
know.
It's not smart enough to know that.
You are wise enough to understand though.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Still suspicious of everything
Oh,
like
dear.
that. And then we continue onward.
So we
and
speak to the tree. I get a bunch of answers out of him,
You
which
did.
because I'm playing the only smart.
she's
some
a
other reason.
professor. Ah,
I'm playing a professor, which means I'm
a
allowed to.
racist professor.
I'm very racist.
Holy shit, that's a large spider.
Oh, it's a daddy long legs
Oh.
over there.
Oh,
Anyhow,
yeah, cool story.
we speak to the tree and we finish. Once we finish speaking with the tree, everyone else has finally found the treasure, and they start walking it back.
Oh,
to...
before then, we're still looking for it, and she finds some horses.
Oh, that's right. So
So
hang
she
on,
had-
wait, stop. Before you start explaining the horses, we're in a grove
Right.
that is connected to a place called the Feywilds.
Right.
It is one of the most chaotic and dangerous places in all of D&D. But doesn't tend to exist on the the mortal plane. Not in high doses, anyhow. This place was directly connected to it,
Oh god.
which does sometimes happen. And these horses, who may or may not have already had been horses originally, had wandered into this place and eaten the grass, which turned them into fey creatures. But we didn't know that from a distance. So what I did, I turned invisible.
Got my vote.
Got his rope, got my rope, and I went to go take a closer look at the horses.
I stood guard on a natural 20. I was hidden as fuck.
Um,
Yes! No one can see me! Ha ha ha!
Oh dear, Matt was like
I'm out.
freaking out the
Who's
whole
Matt
time.
left? Oh,
Matt
Matt
has PTSD from the Feywilds. It's
What made
so
it funny
obvious.
is Matt left the first time.
Yeah.
He doesn't leave the second. So we get the treasure, we continue onward.
So I take a closer look at this horse, the horses. Realize that they're definitely fey creatures.
She could
And
tell.
God.
She
all
could tell
leave.
because they were saying, "Look at my horse. My horse is amazing."
And we all leave. And then I go speak to the tree one more time before the group leaves.
Yeah.
And so we split into two groups.
So Matt, me, and Anna stand
Yeah,
behind.
me, Matthew, and Nathan, and George, Kenny, and Alex split off. George, Kenny, and Alex take the treasure chest
No,
with them
Kenny's
back.
not here. Kenny's not there. He's been.
Oh, he wasn't?
investigated. He
Oh,
was
that's right, he
investigated.
was. Sorry.
He was trying to get you guys arrested.
he is legitimately trying to get us
Party
arrested,
conflict, that's
but
right.
he has no grounds to stand on.
Give him
Right.
time.
He's trying to implicate us, but he has no grounds to stand on.
No.
Okay.
But anyway,
So we
she finds a
speak
small
to
boy.
the tree, ask him a few more questions, and then we continue on our way. And we see, basically, the first group sees this guy sitting in the woods by himself, just sitting.
Right.
They're like, "That's a trap," and keep moving.
Yeah. Emma sees this and goes, "Oh, that's a trap," and runs head first into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
This is indeed
no.
what I did. I'm like,
Matt
"That's a
goes-
trap!"
And then
Yay!
he just did you call it?
No, hold on.
Yes.
No, she did not get caught in it.
Ah.
So she goes up to it.
So I
Matt
go
goes,
up-
"No, that's a bad idea."
Hang on. No. First, I go up to it and I start looking at the corpse intensely. And Matt, you two are both standing behind me like, "This is a really bad idea." And so I'm investigating the corpse, and then I start
And all the
taking
while-
things off him.
And all the while, Sam, our DM, is rolling.
Yeah.
And when he rolled high enough,
Mm-hmm.
I rolled to counter that and rolled a natural 20. So what his little... Oh,
So
he just moved it.
his idea was, as soon as this guy moves,
Mm-hmm.
he rolls a dice. I'm going to hit him with a natural 20.
Yes.
As soon as there's any movement in this corpse, I'm going to yeet my axe at this boy.
Yeah.
And
I got a
Sam
natural
moves.
20.
So he moves, and Nathan yeets.
I yeeted the axe. Because sorcerers need a magical object.
Right.
I have a
Yeah,
magical
this
axe.
is his axe. It's his focus,
My
basically.
battle axe.
So
It's a lightning
let me
axe.
let me
so
let
I
me let
threw
me
it.
explain. Let me
Yeah.
explain. So Nathan's character, as a dwarf, can wield battle axes,
Okay.
but normally sorcerers cannot.
Right.
So he's decided that he's a sorcerer that uses a battle axe as his focus.
Yeah.
All casters need a focus.
Yes.
Um,
Like my wildcaster.
yeah, his wild fucking.
He's
Yours is a
doing
wild
it.
magic sorcerer, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, fuck
Not
off.
mine, not my character.
Oh
But-
no, you're
yeah,
training.
my
No, that's a
trainee
different
is-
story. That's a different story.
Poor man.
Oh dear.
For every caster, I apologise to him.
So he yeets his magical axe, and then Matt's like, "You realise you can't cast without your axe?"
And I said, "Yeah, I know." And it comes back to me.
Because he did discuss that with.
I had
Sam.
discussed that with Sam. I
Anyway,
said,
that's a story for another day.
Okay.
So he yeets his axe at this guy
Mhm.
and splits open his brain.
which
Oh,
makes
yikes.
a loud ring. Oh yeah. So in other news, I'm able to do psychic damage to Emma because I keep doing that.
That's
And
another
it's very
fucking
high-pitched.
story. That's another. Stop fucking sidetracking this one
It's
story.
bad.
Stop sidetracking the story, please.
And that's one day.
So, no, it wasn't. This was like 3 different sessions. You gotta remember that. So he
The main
yeets.
story is one DM session.
This story is one.
Nathan's
session.
just going. I
Anyway,
don't know that.
he yeets his axe at this guy.
Yeah.
Splits his brain open.
Splits his head open and into his brain. And
Yikes.
out of the head comes
A brain thingy.
no, it was a intellect devourer,
Yes.
which is a
Little brain on 4 legs.
it's a brain on legs
Right.
that is a part of the mind flayer's pets,
Okay.
basically.
Hmm.
They're usually used as scouts or spies, and they can eat somebody's brain and control the person like a puppet.
Oh yikes.
I'm like,
If that's the case, then how was it a zombie?
huh? It wasn't a zombie. The guy wasn't a zombie.
Oh no, it wasn't. I'm thinking of someone else. No, I'm thinking of that man. Sorry.
Yeah.
I
So
got caught up there.
what happens is once it jumps out of the brain, I use one of my spells called Misty Step, which allows me to instantly travel 30 feet away
Jesus.
as mist.
Wow.
So if something's like grabbing you, or you're restrained, or anything like that, you cast
Misty
yourself
Step.
Misty Step, and you're suddenly 30 feet away from
Very
them.
useful.
Wow.
It's hyper useful. It's better than like dimension door or teleportation because it turns you into mist, which means you no longer have a form to grab,
Mm.
but it only takes you 30 feet. So
Still useful though.
it's fucking useful as
Yeah.
shit.
So then Matt, like the coward
Hang
he
on.
is.
No. We get 30 feet away, and then Matt looks down at his character sheet and he goes, "Oh fuck."
But he knows he can't.
One of his character's bonds is I will fight alongside those. No, I will fight to the death with those who fight for themselves.
Right.
And we are people who have fought alongside him and fight for ourselves. So his character has to take on this Mind Eater.
He has to help us.
He has to help out.
Right.
So he runs in, he hits it, and then he runs out again. Nathan grabs his axe and he casts a spell.
Cast Shatter on it.
You cast Shatter.
I was like, quick, we got
And then I'm like, because I say to Nathan in character, there's no way we can run from this thing.
No, we have
because
to
it
fight.
can run faster than us.
It can run faster than both of us. I'm pretty sure it can run faster.
No. It moves at the same speed as Matt.
Well,
so we couldn't get away from it.
We couldn't get away from Matt could.
Matt could because he could outrun us.
Either one of us, depending on how quick it eats.
Yeah, exactly.
And it might only need one of us.
Yeah, it would probably eat the wizard. So anyhow, I'm like, I'm not getting away from this creature, so I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
So I hit it with one of my spells,
And then it
Chromatic Orb, and it dies.
Right.
And we were like, oh thank God.
And we're like,
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
we were so
Then
grateful.
15 more pop up and we die.
No.
No, Matt was like, we need to go. We need to go.
We were so worried because we didn't know, because it probably has a nice big attack
Yeah.
that it can do to one of us.
Well, the way Matt was scared, it probably could.
Yeah, and
Matt was like, he didn't even want to hold it, but you made him. He was like,
well, because it was like this in my hands and like this in his.
and I, for some reason, didn't pitch in, but you know.
Well, it'd still be like this in your hands.
Yeah, for just so Emma's like holding her hands up really big when she said that it's like that in her hands, but really like close together.
So as a
She's a gnome. So
No.
just do the math.
I'm 2 feet tall. As a human, Matthew's 5 foot.
Alright, yeah.
Yes.
So I only just come up to his knees.
Yeah,
Wow.
but right.
I'm
You also got a picture of him. But
I'm a short. Yeah, it's also a human brain. So I'm a short race. I'm like, you need to carry this.
yeah.
So that was the story of the end cap.
We have a problem.
And then, of course, at the end of the session, we pack up, and somebody messages the chat that there was a...
George started it.
George started it. He, what did he
George
say?
started
oh
the
my God.
cockfight.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
What happened?
So, George...
hang on.
Remember everything we just told you about the murder?
Mm-hmm.
One of our characters wasn't here and he's trying to clear you.
Yeah,
He wasn't too happy about it.
He wasn't. So,
No,
George started it. Hang on.
Emma's trying to find the messages. Is that a wolf's head?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, dear. Oh, here we go.
That clown looks so freaky.
Mm.
Holy shit.
So he started it with, I guess that was what happens when Sam's just not in the game.
Yeah. No,
And he's like, you killed everyone, didn't you?
and I'm like, yep.
we investigated a possible murder.
Yeah. Sure. We
Just
can
a
do that.
minor amounts of assassination and evidence tampering.
Yeah, we did.
And then Lucas is like, oh God, why do you do this? Why must you give me these idiots? What have I done to you?
What did I do wrong?
And then George was like, you didn't show up. That's what went wrong.
Yeah.
And then this basically goes back and forth until Lucas goes, it was you, wasn't it? And George was like, we do actually have solid alibis.
We all
Not
have
the
some-
party, George. You. Never. And then Lucas is like, I'm calling it right now. And then George is like, I'm innocent. He asked the DM, but he doesn't
TM
respond.
TM don't respond currently.
And Kenny's like, well, there were a murder with poison. It must have been magical. I'm like, there's no way he's figured that out.
Mm.
His character could not have figured that out in any way, shape, or form.
Mm. And then
Like,
George was like, we never
But
teaching students.
this goes back and forth until Lucas is like, you could have used your Find Familiar and then another spell. I'm like, no, the house was locked up tight for A.
Yeah.
B, I was half a day away. And C, I've never met this guy before in my life. And I have a solid alibi.
So that's the story, is it?
Yeah, Lucas gets really mad. He's like, if I investigate...
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Go back. Lucas, Kenny was being all funny about it.
He was gonna be like, it might have been the priest, but like, it's shame. Oh.
And I'm just like, shame. I really liked your character, Kenny. It's such a shame.
Oh, yeah. So
And
this
I had
goes on
nothing to do
for a
with
while, and Lucas is trying to figure it out. I'm like, there's no way your character could put any of this together. So, Lucas gets really mad in chat.
Right.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah,
So we're gonna have to wait till next session for,
Well, maybe even worse is he's a zombie now.
Yeah,
it
he
makes
is.
it a lot harder.
Yeah, it makes it basically impossible to discover whether or not that froth came from the poisoning or from when he turned into a zombie.
Okay.
So we win. Good
Nice.
job. Good murder.
Good job. Yeah.
We're also investigating our own murder.
So
Yeah.
that is the real how to get away with murder.
Yes.
Alright, so
And then of course there's Emma's where I've learned the hard way that no matter what I play, my partner will just be abusive.
that's just Emma
What
and
happened, Em?
That's just Emma and Nathan. That's just Emma rather.
Nathan, you left your wife for like a whole month. What is she supposed to think?
It's been a month.
Yes, I said it's been a month.
Fuck. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
What is she supposed to think? So this is a story from another game I'm
She's
running.
seeing Em
Um,
and vampires and her.
The story of how Nathan left his wife for a month.
his character.
I was teleported by a magical fucking wizard who was a prick.
I'm sorry, honey.
Who's in every single game.
Sorry, I
is-
vanished.
Okay,
I got
so there are
teleported by a wizard.
there are
Of
two
course I-
characters that are in every single game we've ever played.
Right. One of them's a wizard. That skull looks freaky.
What was his name? Not Jason.
Jim.
No, the guy who sees everything.
Tim.
No,
Jades.
it starts with a J. It's Jason. Oh god, so I can't remember his name.
Wait,
Anyhow, so in one of Danny's big
what edition you
sessions,
played? What edition?
five.
Right.
5th edition.
So in one of Danny's encounters, we all decided that we were going to use the trees as a cover, and we all use stealth and the natural advantage that trees have, that they just, when they stand still, they look like trees.
Mhm.
And we all rolled pretty high on our stealths. And then Danny rolled against us to see us, and everybody failed but one person. We made this huge joke that, like, he was the only one who could see it, and he kept trying to point it out to everyone, but nobody believed him.
It's hilarious.
And, oh man. Eventually he became a part of everybody's game, so if there's ever a point where everybody in the group fails except for one, it's him.
Yeah.
It's him reincarnated in this world.
Yeah.
He just sees everything.
I see everything. She's secretly a god.
I see
Secretly.
skies are blue.
And then the second one is a wizard.
Yes, so there was this ongoing joke that once upon a time there was a wizard who liked to
The
get
end.
really drunk. And one of his favourite tricks when he got drunk was to teleport people randomly around the world.
right, yep. That
Look
makes
at
sense
this to
now.
my character.
And he's in my game.
That makes
Because
sense.
he was in Danny's game and he was funny as hell. And we never got to meet him.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two characters
Right.
that just happen to exist every time.
Nice.
Oh dear. And those are a couple, just like
Of
one
many.
D&D story. God, remember all those crit 20s we got like last week in Sam's
Yeah.
game for no reason?
Yes, it was
They're like
hilarious.
in the most useless place.
There was one
So
there was
bad.
one good one where I dropped my dice and I got a natural 20. I'm like, well, next roll it's gonna be 1. And it was 1. I was like, why did I roll?
Emma's in
I have a
Really?
funny story. I have a funny story about this time we were playing goblins. So
Go
this
for
is
it.
at the end of the story because
This is
this is the only point that was actually funny.
Right.
So as goblins, we were in this tavern
Mhm.
giving a quest back. So we'd completed the quest and
Oh, that's
we were
right, I
giving
shit
it
myself.
back.
I almost shit
And
myself.
in the area that we were in, we were talking to the NPC, and we look at the floor and we're like, wait, is the floor a trap? Just like one section of the floor is just collapsible, and we all started laughing, and then somebody piped up and was like, no, that's the only safe place on the floor. The trap is the rest of the floor. And Lucas was like, no, never. And then he sets off the trap. And he's like, you can never save from this. And we're like, do we get to roll? And he's like, okay, but you have to roll natural 20s to save.
Okay.
So, Kenny rolls,
Correct 20.
I roll, Matthew rolls, and Alex rolls natural 20s.
Jesus.
It was like, what?
It was RNG just smiled down upon us.
And
It
said,
was-
that'd be hilarious.
Correct
That would
20.
be funny
No.
as
No. It's just like Oprah.
You get a trick 20.
You get a quick 20.
Oh my goodness!
You stole a joke.
Everybody! I know, I saw it coming.
No. I was like, fuck.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that was the funniest time we've ever had nat 20s, but it's just so irrelevant.
Right.
It's just
Well,
so irrelevant.
anyway, you know, a little while back, in my youth group, we were gonna do,
Yeah, I remember that.
we never actually. ended up
I
doing
know.
Yeah.
It's strange. What happened?
it.
Did they-
Basically, like a bunch of new people showed up.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sure, and then everyone just forgot about it. Including me.
Well, you need just a smaller group, because the larger the group, the harder it is to DM.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Youth groups like quite good though. It's like I'm really enjoying that. Anyway,
I found that the group that we run is quite hard, but it can be a lot of fun.
yeah.
Just everyone pitches in together to foil all of my plans.
Yes, it's the right thing to do.
In Sam's game, we're like building this town and
Yes.
undermining his like everything he does.
Fuck the Imperials.
That's basically our mission in life.
Right.
I think this is the end of the episode.
Okay.
Oh, we have not been paying attention to
No,
this.
right.
We have not. No. Well, that's been good though. Emma and Nathan's Dungeons and Dragon stories. Dungeons and Dragon stories. I might just call it that.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, this has been in the background, so if you'd wanted to watch us play this game,
Oh, comment. Yeah.
it's
Please.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate for you.
Yeah.
We can replay it, but
Yeah, we can. Wait, no, I'm pretty sure we will.
because it's a prologue between 1 and 2, so
Yeah.
we can replay it.
I'd
at
love
some
to.
point,
I'd
but
love to like replay.
It's the
so
prologue.
it's just something to watch while
Yeah.
we speak over the
The
top.
prologue
Exactly.
between the first one.
Yeah. I'd love to do a.
But no, the multiple stories Nathan brought
Yeah.
up during my story
Mhm.
are all
That's,
things that have happened just in Sam's game.
I got excited, I'm sorry.
He
That's
does.
fine.
Imagine
yeah.
if you had actually played in Danny's game. Holy shit. That would have been terrible. We have so many bad stories from that game. Oh my wow.
You have told me them.
I have told you a few of them. I have forgotten so many of them. Just so many stories where it's been Danny fudges us over for the whole session.
Yeah, like
Because he doesn't like us breaking his,
story.
No, this is good. though.
Dialogue. He didn't like us breaking his dialogue, and we just broke it so easily.
I loved when your god
Hold on.
came in.
Oh,
Oh.
that time my god was like, yeah, no, you're a cleric now?
No, Alex decided to attack him, the demon.
Oh!
Everyone looked away,
Oh!
and I kind of
Oh,
was
okay,
like,
so I had planned this out from the beginning,
Right.
that a character in the game was going to be a demon,
Right.
and Alex decided to attack me.
and it was really
Okay.
cool.
Oh dear. Anyway, I think that's the end of the episode,
Yeah, I
So
think
we
it
can
is.
get if we want.
No, we probably should leave it there. It's
Yeah.
been a long episode.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well-
overheating like hell,
That's
so
a fair point.
I'm gonna go get out of this sweaty ass top and into something much cooler.
Yep.
Okay, bye!
Bye.